Hello and welcome to Science Works Online. You're watching Between Two Beakers with me, your host, Chris Solo. First, let's tell you a little bit about Science Works in case you haven't been able to visit us here in Oregon. Science Works is a hands on museum with lots of fun exhibits that help people of all ages learn about science. With us being online, we thought it would be a great way to connect with students and families all over the world. We have a lot of exciting demonstrations and experiments in store for you in the coming weeks, and we bring in a lot of science experts to talk about their fields and answer any of your questions. But before we get into today's facilitated activity, let's hear some news from Maya. Hey Maya, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Have you? Today's piece of news is about dyes. Have you ever wondered what's in your food coloring?
I do now.
Well, most food colorings just have red number 40 or blue number something. And these are, they were invented, oh no. My computer shut down.
That's all right.
So, in the news today, we have discovered an ancient recipe or rediscovered the ancient recipe for a dark purple blue color. So, have you ever gone to Europe and seen their illuminated manuscripts?
I haven't. No.
They're mostly gold.
Oh, I think we lost Maya. All right. I guess we can try to come back to the news later. Let's go ahead and jump into our curiosity expert, Ash. Welcome, Ash.
Hi there. How are
How's
you
it
doing
going?
today, Chris?
I'm doing good, doing good. Seems like we lost our resident anchor, but we will get her back as soon as
No.
possible.
All right. Well, while we're waiting, maybe I can show you some fun things we can do.
Let's do it.
So, Chris, have you ever gone to Science Works and played around in the bubble room?
Yes, it's everyone's favorite room.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty fun. And so, since we're thinking of some things you can do at home, uh, some museum activities,
Uh huh.
I came up with a way that we can make a small replica of our bubble screen.
Okay.
And also, I've got a couple of other ways we can investigate bubbles today.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right, so first off, let's start off by making a little bit of bubble solution.
Okay.
For our bubble solution, what you're going to need is you're going to need a little bit of water. You're going
Okay.
to need some glycerin, and you're going to need some Blue Dawn dish soap. You can try
Got
other
it.
kinds of soap, but the Blue Dawn is what we use, and it works really well.
Okay.
And then you'll need some kind of a container to keep all those to mix all those up.
Got it. So, like a small paper cup.
Yeah, a paper cup would work, and then we'll pour it into maybe a wider container later when we try out our bubble screen.
Got it. Okay. So I
So,
have some
mhm.
dragon's blood dish soap.
I think it might have been Dragon's Blood in a Harry Potter activity or something.
I kept it on there though, and I have our glycerin.
Okay.
Okay. So what else do I need?
Do you have some water?
I do.
Awesome. So we're gonna pour maybe about we're gonna add maybe like 3 parts water. So
Okay.
you're gonna pour your cup about 1/3 to 1/2 full.
Okay.
That would be 2 parts water if it was 1/2 full, but
Okay. About half
and
full.
then okay, so then we're gonna add a small amount of the dish soap, like about a teaspoonful. Can you eyeball a teaspoon?
I was wondering if I
A
had a
pretty
teaspoon in here. Yeah, I could do that.
if you don't have a if you did have a teaspoon, that'd be great, but otherwise just kind of a decent sized squirt.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we are gonna put in actually maybe just a little bit, one more little squirt.
One more squirt. Got it.
Yeah. And then we're gonna put in a one kind of about the same size squirt of glycerin.
Okay. Okay.
And we're gonna stir that up.
All right.
So that to be optimal for the very best bubble solution we can have, we like to keep this and let it sit overnight. But we can probably get some bubbles right now that we can just play with.
Okay.
Do you have a drinking straw?
Yes.
So I want you to take your straw and just kind of put it in the bubble juice and see if we can make some bubbles right now.
You want me to drink the bubble juice?
No, don't drink it. You want to exhale. You want to exhale. We're not gonna taste the science today.
Okay.
Okay. So, can you blow some bubbles for me?
Sure. I think.
Let's see if you can blow bubble on the straw. You might want to blow the bubbles into the cup first and then pick up the straw and see if you can blow it.
Oh, there goes one.
There we go. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit. Might be a little easier if you add a little more soap.
Yeah. Oh, that one on the phone.
Have you ever been washing your hands and you notice you've got a film of bubbles in between your fingers?
Yeah.
Kind of like you spread your thumbs and fingers into kind of a triangle like that.
Mm-hmm.
What have you noticed? Have you ever taken a really close look at that film and noticed what it looks like?
I haven't actually.
Next time, and scientists at home, if you're ever washing your hands, which we all are hopefully doing a lot every day, several times a day, try spreading your fingers and just looking at that film of soap between your fingers. You probably are going to see a lot of colors swirling
Oh yeah.
on the surface of the film. And so that's something that we probably notice in the bubble room too. When you are blowing bubbles or using the big bubble wands, if you ever hold still for a minute and look at your bubbles, you're going to notice some really pretty swirling color patterns.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Oh yeah, I've actually done that when we were doing the bubble thing at that little microscope that projects the screen on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
I showed the bubbles on that before. That was
Oh,
fun.
very cool. What did that look like?
You see that rainbow, and it's kind of fun because when you see the bubble, it looks like the bubble is stationary, but when you look at it through the magnifying glass, it's moving like a river.
Yeah.
And
It's really
cool.
swirling
Yeah.
and moving around. And so what's
There we
happening there
go.
is, oh, there we go. We just needed to try a little bit, tweak it a little. There's some really cool physics happening when we are watching that swirling surface on the bubble. Because what we are actually seeing is there's kind of a very, very thin layer of soap,
Yeah.
and then there's a layer of gas, the air that we are breathing out in between, and another layer of soap. So it's kind of like a sandwich,
Got it.
and we're actually seeing the light patterns interacting on that outside layer.
Okay.
So were you able to get a good bubble at all there, Chris?
I was able to get some pretty good bubbles out of that. Yeah.
All right, let's try an experiment. You
Okay.
feel like trying an experiment today?
Sure.
So for this experiment, let's use a little bit of that bubble juice that's been sitting and kind of aging.
Yeah.
And do you have a balloon?
I do.
We're gonna look at the difference between a balloon and a bubble, and we're gonna think about how they're the same and how they're different.
Okay.
So first thing we're gonna do is I want you to take your balloon and just blow it up.
Okay.
And let's see what we can see, what we can observe. Oh yeah. You know how people have weird phobias? I have a super phobia of balloons popping, so
Oh,
even though we're not even in the same room, I'm extremely nervous right now. Because that's a very full balloon with a lot of air in it.
it is.
So what do you notice? Just think like a scientist and tell me what you observe.
Looking at the balloon in its form, I mean, it's not perfectly round. It's a little egg shaped almost, and it's very smooth on the outside.
Mhm. And can you move it over just a little so I can see myself?
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
There we go. So it's not super round, but it's pretty round. And if we were to let the air out of our balloon, what would happen? Oh.
Yeah, it would get smaller, and the shape would get more onion shape.
So as that rubbery exterior of the balloon, it's pretty stretchy. It's pretty elastic, right?
Yeah.
Now let's make a bubble with the bubble juice that's been aged for a while.
Okay.
And let's see if we can observe the bubble. This might sound weird, but the easiest way to do this might be if you put a little bubble juice on your work surface.
Or just put some on the table.
Yeah, and then you're going to have to kind of bend down and blow through your straw. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, there you go. Like if a little kid was blowing bubbles in some spilled milk or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we're going to try this bubble juice. Oh yeah, that's making some really nice bubbles. And you might even be able to pick one up and make a bubble in the air. Maybe. So scientists, as we are observing this bubble, let's think about what the bubble looks like compared to the balloon. Are they both stretchy?
Somewhat.
Bubbles are also stretchy like a balloon, but it's a little bit different with a bubble. The elasticity of a bubble is a little bit different because when we stop putting air into our bubble, does our bubble always go flat, or can we keep that spherical shape without tying it off?
Sometimes you can. You talking about with a bubble or a balloon?
With a bubble.
Yeah, I mean, at least until it pops, it will keep that shape.
Yeah, so the bubble membrane actually will completely kind of seal itself off. And so it'll retain its elasticity even once we're no longer blowing through the straw. So even though they're both stretchy and elastic, the bubble is different from the latex.
Got it.
What we're going to do next, got one more thing I want to do with you today, which is we'd make that little at-home version of a bubble screen.
Okay.
So what we're going to need are a couple of straws.
Okay.
Some string.
Have that.
Some scissors. And a kind of a dish or pan that's not super deep and it's big enough that your straw can fit in it. And then we'll need some of the aged bubble juice.
Got it.
All right, so what we want to do first is we're going to take your length of string and we want to measure off enough string that we want it to be, the string should be at least 3 times as long as the length of the straw.
Okay.
So we can just eyeball it. We don't have to get a ruler.
You said 3 times?
Yeah.
Got it. 1, 2,
Okay.
3. Got it.
All right, so we want to, oh, hang on. I said 3 times. We're going to put that aside. That's going to be what we use for a handle. What we're going to use to actually make our bubble screen, we want that piece of string to be 4 times the length of your straw.
Got it.
We need just a little extra string.
Got it.
But we didn't waste that first piece of string because we're going to use that for a handle.
2, 3, 4. Got it.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is you are going to thread your string through your straws.
Okay.
And you want to make a shape that's going to be kind of like a rectangle.
Okay.
You can just thread it through both straws first, and then you're going to arrange it kind of into a rectangle shape, and then you will make a double knot in your string. I'm going to go grab my charger because I'm about to run out of power, so I'll be right back.
All right. This is not as easy as it looks, just putting that out there.
It's a little tricky, but remember, whenever we're doing any kind of engineering or tinkering project, if something is a little tricky, we're going to just keep trying, and we might make a few modifications. You guys might come up with a better way to do this than I'm using.
Got it. All right, so I have my 2 straws, and you said you want me to make a rectangle?
Yes.
Do you want me to pull out the edges and like do the bendy thing?
You don't have to bend them. You're just going to arrange your string and your straws into a rectangle shape.
So not like that?
I would keep the straws straight.
Okay.
This is going to be, you know how at ScienceWorks the bubble screen has kind of a top and a bottom to it?
Yeah.
That the straws are the top and the bottom of your bubble screen.
So more like this.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, just like that. And you can even pull that lower straw down a little if you need to. Then you're gonna make a double knot in your string.
Got it. Back to my knot making skills.
That's right. Want to keep you sharp with the knot tying. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take your other piece of string that you made, and we're gonna thread that through your top straw.
Okay.
And we're gonna just kind of make it into a triangle, knot it, and that'll be your handle.
Okay. So just have to carefully thread it through this thing, yeah.
Right, because we've already filled it with another string. And you know, scientists at home, you don't absolutely have to put a handle on yours, but I don't really love getting my fingers in bubble juice, so I like to have something to hold on to. But you can always hold on to your top straw if you need to.
Got it. So I'm going to do something silly. You want to see it?
Yeah.
I'm going to tie a little knot.
Oh no, I think that's a good idea.
Very gentle knot, and I'm going to pull it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Boom.
So you had a smart modification for how to fix a problem.
So now we have our rectangle and a handle.
Great. And then we're going to knot the ends of your handle up.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of like a little triangle that you can hold in your hand.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So now's the fun part. You're going to put your bubble juice into your little pan.
Okay.
And we're going to make our bubble screen and see what we can notice and what we can do with it.
Got it. So I'm just putting this square rectangle piece into the solution.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pick it up.
Just going to dip it right in and then pick it right up.
Got it. Alright, so here's my tray. And here's the aged solution. Should I pour it all in there or most of it?
I think we can pour it all in.
Alright.
We've already got some little bubbles forming there.
Aged 30 years.
That's right.
And I'm going to put this thing in here, right? Just any old way?
You can just dip both the straws in there, and then let's kind of pull it up and see what we can see. What do you think might happen?
Oh.
Oh. I'm looking at you through a film of swirling colors.
Yeah.
So scientists, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm seeing a lot of colors moving on the surface of that bubble.
You're seeing my computer screen?
Yeah, I see a reflection. And then Chris, if you gently blow at your bubble screen, let's see what happens.
Whoa, I dropped it. That's what happened. Let's try
One more time. Let's see if we can blow on the screen and see what shape our bubble is. If it's the same as when we use a bubble wand. We had a giant bulging shape.
Let me back up and try it again.
And it didn't quite turn into a bubble, but I think we can make a bubble if we blow exactly at the right speed. Some physicists have been working on this for a while. Oh my gosh, beautiful giant bubble, yes. So scientists, you can try this at home. You can also make an even bigger version of this. Think about how you'd make an even bigger version that you could play with out in the yard. What do you think you could use for a giant version, Chris?
Sticks?
Maybe some long sticks and some maybe thicker rope?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very big bubble.
Yeah. All right.
So that's another thing, scientists, you could play around with, is you could see what is the biggest bubble that you can blow. And you could also try making up your own different bubble solutions. On the write-up procedure on our website for this activity, there's a little experiment where you can try different concentrations, you can try different ingredients, and you can let us know what makes the best bubble.
Amazing. Did you have anything else with bubbles, or are we gonna do something else?
I was gonna have you. I was gonna show how you can make a really simple bubble wand.
Yeah.
And all you need is a pipe cleaner.
Okay.
Some people call them a Chanel stem.
These
They're
guys?
those fuzzy little things, yeah. So what you can do with these is you can kind of make them into a regular loop. You could make like a big wire loop with one and then use another for the holder if you want.
Okay.
You can make them into different shapes. And then you just dip that in your bubble solution.
Oh.
And it works kind of like the wands that you get in those little bottles of bubble solution. So you can play around and you can make all different kind of shapes and see if the bubbles stay that shape or if they become a sphere.
Whoop, popped.
And that's another thing is when we add that glycerin to the bubble juice, what we want to do is the glycerin kind of keeps it a little more elastic the longer. The bubbles pop and they dry out.
Got it.
That was a pretty good bubble.
That was a good bubble. Fantastic. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Do we have Maya back on the call? I don't know if she's there or not. I guess she didn't connect. Do we have any other experiments we want to?
Experiment was off. Do you
Oh,
want
okay.
me to?
So how about, should I leave you with the joke until next time?
Well,
Or should I come back after mine?
Let's come back after Maya. We'll do the news and we'll circle back and answer any questions that our audience has.
Sounds great.
Welcome back, Maya.
Okay, we'll see if it works this time.
All right.
It shut down the second I talk. But here, what were we talking about? Dyes. So, back before we had sort of streamlined how to dye anything that you see that's artificially colored, like paint on the wall or cabinets being white, that's all technically just dye and diluted dye in a different substance. So we've been making dye recipes since ancient times, and this is a recipe that was rediscovered by researchers using the plant Dyer's croton, and it looks like this. it seemed kind of obvious that maybe they should have thought of this plant as the plant that was used in the ancient dye recipe. But with those illuminated medieval manuscripts that are in Europe that are blue and gold plated, the blue dye has always been a mystery of how it was made. It's a really specific purpley blue color. And scientists have been struggling to restore these artifacts. So now that they've discovered this dye, they can officially restore all of these medieval manuscripts for further research.
Great.
Okay. So our second piece of news, before my computer shuts down, they have found that salt water exists on Mars. I did another news story on how there is water on Mars, and this indicates that there could be life on Mars. But now that there is salt water on Mars, it's even a larger possibility that life could exist. But temperatures on Mars are negative 54 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's no animal that can survive at that, or bacteria or anything that can survive at that temperature. However, this is important for scientists and future astronauts to Mars because there is risk of contamination. Like another news story I did earlier, there's water bears, and water bears can survive in space. They go into a hibernation dormant mode where all of their organs have slowed so much that they're basically not alive, but they are technically still alive. So we could accidentally contaminate Mars if we're not careful, especially now that they have salt water. And so those are my two newses of the day.
Well, thank you very much, and apologies for all the technical difficulties, but thank you for coming back and finishing up the news, and we'll see you next time. So we're going to take it back to Ash and wrap up with any other questions that anybody has in the chat and end with a joke.
Yeah, did anyone have any questions? Any of you scientists are out there watching about bubbles or other experiments we can do with bubbles? There's a lot of fun stuff we can do, and if you are really into bubbles, there's actually a wiki for bubble fans, and I'm gonna give you guys the link to it. It's just a second. I'm gonna drop it into the chat.
Perfect.
I'm on the Facebook chat, so I'm gonna drop it in there.
Yeah, I can share that.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So if you love bubbles and you really want to have a lot of different bubble enthusiasts to try different experiments with and lots of articles about the physics of bubbles, you can check out Soap Bubble Wiki, which I learned more about bubbles just kind of reading through some articles there. I thought I knew a lot about bubbles, but I learned so much more.
Amazing. Well, is your joke today related to bubbles?
I looked for bubble jokes. I didn't really think any of them were super funny. I can tell you a quick bubble joke.
Sure.
Why did the bubble cross the road?
Oh no. Why did the bubble cross the road?
To meet... Oh, you tell me what you think.
I don't know.
To meet its pop. So I have another joke that is physics related, since we were kind of talking about those interference patterns that make those city colors. So my other joke is, what is a physicist's favorite part of a baseball game?
I don't know.
Doing the wave.
Oh, I love the jokes. Well, thank you very much, Ash. And thank you everybody who joined today and the questions and everything else. And it was really fun making our own little bubble wands. Catch us next Thursday for the next episode of Between Two Beakers, and we will see you all later.
Bye, scientists.